Hello, everybody. This is Steven Nutzman. I am the editor-in-chief of EngageFamilyGaming.com. And oh, goodness, that light's very bright. Let me turn it on. Okay, so Black Friday's over, and Cyber Monday is over. So the bulk of the big, crazy deals are gone. And I know, and I just know that more than a handful of you went out and bought a new console over the weekend. There were some amazing deals. The Switch had a great deal. There was a $200 PlayStation 4. I know Xbox had cut the price of the Xbox One X by $100. There were some great bundles. I'm sure a lot of people maybe even put some things on layaway and are looking to pick things up. However, I wanted to talk about what to do next, because here's the deal, right? Consoles are not... They how do I phrase this, right? So consoles are not like a television, right? So when you have when you buy a new TV, you can generally pick it up and set it up and plug it in, and everything's fine. There's really not a lot of setup to do. Some of the smart TVs, there's some little things you have to do, but consoles are very different, and not a lot of folks know that. Consoles are basically computers, so there's actually a fair amount of setup that needs to get done. So what I thought I would do is I thought I would give some advice to folks that maybe had picked up a console as a holiday gift for their family. Now, I don't know who did, so I'm certainly not going to call out names. However, this is something that's maybe worth watching. With that said, if you don't want to raise suspicion, this is one of those videos that maybe, watch it VOD, because I'm going to leave it on our Facebook page. So, all right, so you picked up a holiday gift, a console as a holiday gift, a PS4, an Xbox One, or a Nintendo Switch. What do you do next? My biggest piece of advice, and I implore you, this is important, don't just wrap it now and put it under the tree, or do whatever, or whatever you're going to do. Don't do that. You're going to want to, at some point between now and when you're going to give the gift, you're going to want to plug it in, even kind of temporarily. A lot of times there'll be like an HDMI hookup on the side of your television. If you look at my TV back there, there's actually an HDMI hookup on the side, so I don't have to take apart the entertainment center. Plug it in and set it up. And the biggest reason for that is sometimes those setups can take a while. Sometimes they might take a couple hours, and you don't want to do that on Christmas morning or on New Year's morning, or whatever day you give that gift. You don't want to lose hours setting up this console. So my recommendation is, if you have a box with a console in it hidden somewhere in your house, first off, congratulations, you're in for a lot of fun. But I definitely think before you wrap it, you should take it out of the box and plug it in and do the setup. There will likely be a system update that you need to download. There may be some account settings that you have to set up. If you go ahead and set it up, even if you unplug it afterwards and just shove it all back up into the machine, into the box, right? It'll make it so that when you do need to set it up permanently, it'll just turn right on and you'll be able to go right in. And it'll make it that much more of like a plug-and-play experience. So you'll want to do that. The good news is actually setting the consoles up is actually not that hard. If you set up your iPhone, then you can set up a console. A lot of times it's a matter of, what region are you in? What date is it? Maybe you have to create an account. And maybe you just create like a default family account to start with, and then you can create individual user accounts for other people later. But take it out of the box and set it up now. This is also true, for example, if you were one of the folks that bought a Spider-Man PS4, which is, that was an amazing bundle. So shout out to the people that got a PS4 and Spider-Man for $200. That's a great deal. Spider-Man involves a pretty significant download, so you can't just play the game. So once you get it, the account set up, throw the Spider-Man disc into the box, or not the box, into the console, and let it run its installation. There's a pretty significant day one patch that they put out that fixed some bugs. Basically, and thanks my BFF Rachel Cowart watching the, to be specific, The Good Doctor Rachel Cowart watching the video. Install it, get the patches down. A lot of times they'll have to install a certain amount of game data from the actual system into the onto the console. And all that takes time. And sometimes on Christmas morning, maybe they just want to play a quick game before you have to go to somebody else's house. I know with us, Christmas morning is kind of rushed, right? We go to Christmas morning and there's also stuff going on, and we have maybe like an hour or two to like play with our stuff before we have to go to another Christmas. And so if we had to spend all that time just installing stuff, it kind of bricks the experience, right? It's still fun, but it's stuff that can be front loaded. So definitely do that. And yeah, that might have to work out some logistics, because obviously that means someone's going to have to be at the entertainment center when nobody else is. And obviously that could be a challenge. But I mean, we're all smart people. If you're smart enough to be able to afford one of these consoles, then you should be able to figure out the logistics of getting the kids the heck out of the house while somebody does it. So that's the first piece. My next piece is, so you picked up this console. You probably have a game for it. Maybe you don't. So here's some recommendations on some ways to kind of make the experience a little bit better. Number one, and I'm just going to throw a link into the video chat here. I would look into, all of us have, a lot of us will have other people that need to buy gifts, right? Aunts, uncles, friends that we maybe see over the new year, something like that. Look into one of these subscription services. Because I am a firm believer that these subscription services are a great way to add value to your gaming experience. There's one for Nintendo. There's one for PlayStation. There's one for Xbox. There's specifically one just for sports games on the Xbox One. So if you happen to be an Xbox One player, then the EA Access is $30 a year, and it gives a lot of value because you get the Vault, which is all the old EA games, and early access to Madden and all that. So I definitely would recommend looking into that, and there are links and some explanations in that gift guide that I threw in the chat. And I definitely think, finding somebody that is looking for a gift for one of your kids that is, maybe they don't know what to get or they need something quick, you can throw that out. And the good news is, even if you get duplicates, right? If you bought something and someone else is just looking for a little bit extra, they stack, right? If I buy a year of PlayStation Plus and throw it onto my account and someone else gives me 3 months as like an extra bonus, I can enter that code in on the system and it'll have instructions right on the back of the card. It'll add those 3 months right to the tail end. So it's a great value. It's not, the sexiest gift out there, but you know what? When I was a kid, I had somebody who just every year bought me a Nintendo Power subscription. Just every year, that's what I got. And it was a really cool deal. It wasn't super fancy, right? But they got it. They didn't have to go crazy thinking about what did I like, what would I like. They always knew to get the same thing. And these subscription services are a great way to just kind of add some value to the gaming experience, and also give somebody, a cool gift to give. This is especially relevant if you're watching this, maybe you don't have your own kids and there's, a nephew or something that you're buying. These are always a cool gift to give. They're practical because you need these services in order, you need these subscription services in order to play online. So they do qualify almost like a practical gift. It makes their console better by default, but also all of them include a suite of free games and other cool things. So definitely look into the subscription services. Another thing, if you happen to be a new Switch owner, one thing that you probably didn't buy was a micro SD card. So, boom, Miranda, you literally read my mind. So, if you are a Switch owner, I think a little bit less relevant for PS4 and Xbox One owners. However, if you are someone that just bought a new Switch for the family, I'm going to recommend that you head on over to Amazon and look for a well-priced micro SD card. The internal hard drive of the Switch is very small. It's about 32 gigabytes, which is not a lot. Nintendo games are notoriously, they're very small in as far as the amount of data that they take up. However, 32 gigabytes is still not a lot. Zelda fills up most of that. So you really, you will be better off going onto Amazon. So let's see, as I roll my chair forward, let's head on over to Amazon and see, what kind of stuff we can find out here. So micro SD cards, again, you don't need to go absolutely crazy. However, let's see here, for a 200 gigabyte internal hard drive, you could get it for $40. That's a pretty good deal. And 200 is going to last you a while. And that's $40. Now, admittedly, that is that's a bit. If that was a little bit too much, 128 is $19.99. This is also something that you could have, somebody else that is just looking for a gift. Have them give you a micro SD card. They might even have one lying around that maybe they didn't use or something like that. But I definitely recommend getting at least something, just to make the system, a little bit more functional. An additional 64 is about $12. So again, this is where it comes down to, you could go bananas and spend $100 on a 400 gigabyte micro SD card. But I think that's a little bit overkill. And as far as what you would do when you get the micro SD card, they're like this little, they're really tiny, super small. On the back of the Switch is the kickstand. This is my phone. Obviously, it's not the Switch. The Switch is charging. I want it fully charged so I can play some Pokemon later. But underneath the kickstand is you would flip out the kickstand, and there's actually a slot. Hey guys, I'm talking about the Switch. And you can just put the micro SD card right in it, and then it'll update the memory. So, it's certainly, Maggie says hi. Listen, if you only go, hey, I'm doing a video, so don't yell. Kids just got back from watching the Nutcracker. So, if you go all digital on the Switch.
Go get the stuff from the car. Was something important?
I was, because I was working on something, but I'm live on Facebook, so if you're going all digital, then yeah, absolutely, you're going to need a bigger micro SD card. Most of us that are kind of at a balance or otherwise, you don't necessarily need a big one. The same is somewhat true for the PlayStation 4 and the Xbox One. Their hard drives are somewhat limited. Most of the models that are available right now come with a 500 gigabyte model, and that's it. Which is a pretty big hard drive, but you can fill it relatively quickly. It is not hard to get a relatively inexpensive external hard drive and plug it in to either the Xbox One or the PS4. So those are my tips for what to do now that you have purchased a console for your holiday. So I do hope you guys have a wonderful day. As you can see, my family is home from the Nutcracker, and I want to see how that goes. So how that went. So you guys have a great day. We'll talk to you guys soon, and don't forget to get your family game on. We'll see you soon. Bye. Oh, what?
Get your family game on.
Are you T-posing?
Yes.
All right. Bye, guys.